I have altogether 4 cameras with me, and I'm gonna start with the smallest sensor camera that I have with me, and it's... Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto and I'm a photographer. And once again, I'm going to spend my winter here in the tropics in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, far away from the Finnish winter. The winter over there is a very photogenic season, but I happen to like it even more here in this warm climate. And in this video, I'm gonna share my travel gear setup, what I brought with me and why. I brought a couple of cameras and quite a few lenses with me, but that is only because of this channel. I need my photo gear, I need my video gear, and I also wanted to bring a couple of extra cameras and lenses so I can make more diverse topics and content here on this channel. If I did not have this channel and I would only take photos, I would only take one camera, one prime lens, and I've done that before. I traveled 9 months with only one camera and only one prime lens, and I had a lot of fun. But because of this channel, I need more gear than just one camera and one lens. But without further ado, let's check out what I have in my camera bag right here. But before I go any further, I'd like to say big thanks to Focus Nordic Finland for their support and for lending me some necessary items for this trip. Big thanks, Focus Nordic Finland. First, the bag itself, the Think Tank Airport Essentials, which I think is an excellent bag for air travel, as the name suggests. It fits under the seat and also, of course, in the overhead lockers. Under the seat is my preferred way to locate my camera bag on an airplane. It's not a very good bag for photo walk or everyday carry things because it's just not very handy for that. But I like it for air travel. It's also big enough to take all my gear and a little bit extra too if necessary, but it's not too big. The exterior size is not too big. As I said, it fits under the seat easily on pretty much every commercial airplane. Then of course I need a shoulder bag. Back in Finland I was testing the Peak Design Everyday Sling 6-liter bag, and I really wanted to like that bag, but it was just a tad too small for my purposes. So I ended up taking this Lower Pro Format 160, which is very practical, but I don't like the exterior design. It just looks too boring and too much like a camera bag to me, but it's very practical, and for now it has to do because I don't have any other or any better shoulder bag. I have altogether 4 cameras with me, and I'm gonna start with the smallest sensor camera that I have with me, and it's this Olympus XZ1. It's the oldest digital camera that I still own, and I wanted to take this because it has a CCD sensor, and I'm going to find out if the CCD colors still today are any good, or the image quality, if it's so much better, or if it's worth the hype that CCD sensors sometimes get. Very nice compact camera from 2010 or something like that. And the next camera is, of course, the Ricoh GR3X, a camera that I never leave behind. Okay, sometimes I do, but for example, I never travel without this camera. It's so tiny, it always delivers, and it's just one of my favorite cameras ever. Very nice camera, and what more can I say? It's always with me. The next up is the Sony a6700. This is mainly for video, this camera, but I also intend to shoot some street on this camera because I haven't had a chance so far to use this camera much for photography. I've only had this camera for about 3 months or so, and so far I really like it. But I've only used it I've mostly used it for video so far. I have 2 lenses for this camera. I have this Sigma 18 to 50mm f2.8, very excellent, super compact standard zoom lens. And then I also have the Sony 11mm f1.8 wide-angle lens and a very dusty Nissi ND Vario ND filter on the lens. I have this lens mostly for video, because I don't usually take photographs on a super wide angle lens like this. But I'll probably shoot some photos also on this lens here in Kuala Lumpur, because here we have so many excellent buildings for a super wide angle lens, and some street scenes also that look awesome through a super wide angle lens. And of course I also have my full frame setup, the Sony a7 Mark IV, which is on a tripod at the moment filming me. And for that camera I have several lenses with me. First lens is the Sony 24mm f2.8. This lens, even though it's a full frame lens, I'll probably put it on my a7 IV at some point, but I actually brought this mostly for my Sony a6700, because on that camera this becomes a very nice 36mm equivalent, which is excellent for street photography, for example. But anyway, it's a full frame lens and I can also use it on my Sony a7 Mark IV if necessary. Then I have two very similar lenses. I have the Sony 40mm f2.5 and also the 50mm f2.5. And now you might want to ask, why on earth did I bring two lenses that are so close together, a 40mm and a 50mm? Well, the simple answer is that I've had this 50mm for about 3.5 years now, but I hardly ever use it. And I simply wanted to get more pictures also on this lens. And here in Kuala Lumpur we have so many excellent things to photograph: people, street scenes, buildings and whatnot. So that is the simple answer for that. And of course I love this 40 already. I know that it's really good, but I just wanted to take more pictures also on this 50. But that is not all. I also have two zoom lenses for my full frame Sony. The first one is the Tamron 28-75mm f2.8 G2. It's a really excellent zoom lens. I mostly use it for video, but occasionally also for photography. The other zoom is this Tamron 50-400mm that I took only because I very seldom use telephoto lenses, and now I wanted to have a telephoto lens with me, and Focus Nordic Finland was so kind to lend me this lens for this trip, and I'm actually looking really forward to shooting on this lens, and it's nice to be able to shoot some telephoto pictures too for a change. I did not bring any Micro Four Thirds cameras or lenses because my camera bag is already quite full as it is, and it's also overweight already for most airlines. However, here in Kuala Lumpur I have a very good friend, Mr. Robin Wong. If you don't know his channel, I'll put the link down below. From Robin I can borrow some Micro Four Thirds cameras and lenses if necessary. So I did not have to carry my own cameras and lenses all the way from Finland. It's good to have friends all over the places, all over the world. And then I have my GoPro Hero 8 for POV type of footage out there on the street. And my tripod for this trip is the Hype 3-to-1 tripod. It's a tripod that at some point got a lot of exposure here on YouTube, and so far I'm really impressed by the build quality and the features, but I have used it very little, so I don't have any kind of a solid opinion on that yet. But once I use it a little bit more, I'll share what I think about the product. I also have two wireless microphone setups. I have the relatively new 7 Artisans wireless microphone kit with two transmitters. I'm using one transmitter now, and the receiver of course is on my camera. And then I have my trusty old Rode Wireless Go with one transmitter. I wanted to bring two just to have a backup if something happens. And then I have my 14-inch MacBook Pro, 3 Samsung SSD drives for my backups, my pictures, my video footage, card readers, cables and whatnot. All those accessories that are mandatory if you are a photographer, a video creator and you travel. So there you have it, my travel gear setup for this winter. It's a lot of gear, but it's all necessary because I'm not just a photographer, I'm also a YouTube content creator. By the way, please do share your favorite travel gear, travel photography gear down below in the comments. That's all I have for you. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video entertaining or useful, please do consider buying me a cup of coffee. There's a link down below for that if you don't live in Finland. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll definitely see you soon in the next video.